Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. Today we'll be reviewing the S.H.Figuarts Kinnikuman Perfect Origin Arc version. Now, they have done several Kinnikuman or Ultimate Muscle S.H.Figuarts in the past, but this is the most recent one, and I believe they have designed it a little bit differently. This will most likely be the only one that I look at, mainly because I just wanted it for a really cool posable wrestling based figure, and I do have some good memories of Ultimate Muscle, even if I cannot recall basically anything about it. It was just a show that I would watch every now and again and laugh at how silly it was and the insane dubbing that it had. This does look a little bit different to the Kid Muscle that I am familiar with, but to my understanding it is the same character. This is him just in a very standard sort of like wrestling underwear, and that's about it, whereas in the Ultimate Muscle show, from what I remember, he had like a full bodysuit sort of look that looked a little bit more in line with a traditional shonen protagonist, even with the goofy looking mask that he's got on. Now, because I don't know too much about this series, because it has been a very long time, I will inevitably get things wrong, so I'm not really going to talk too much about story characters or anything like that. I just remember that there's a character called Kevin Mask, and that was funny. But I'm going to be looking at this purely pretty much as a figurine and not like a figure of Kid Muscle. So, taken out of the box, here's what he comes with, and it might not look like too much, you know, like several hand options, a clearly alternate faceplate, as well as a bunch of different parts on these tiny little sprues or runners. Now, these are the really important parts. Effectively, they are all interchangeable mouth or eye pieces that can completely change the expression of the figure. You get two faceplates because one faceplate is for the wider mouth looks and one is for the smaller mouth looks, but every single eye piece can be used for these, and you get a lot of options on these. I will preface this that I am not going to go through every single option that there is there, and that's more for expediency's sake and my own sanity. But thankfully, the last time I went to Japan, which was quite recently, there was a showcase of this figure in the Akihabara Tamashii Nation store, and it had the figure next to all of the potential face options, so I'll chuck that up right now so you can see just how many possible combinations you can get out of this figure, which is incredible. It is a really cool feature, honestly, and I wish some more figures would do something like that. Like Revoltech and Amazing Yamaguchi does it sometimes, but now they've sort of opted for the moving eye gimmick, which is cool too, but it is a little bit fiddly. But having the swappable eyes with different expressions really does help quite a bit. But taken out of the box and put on a display, here is Kid Muscle, and he's looking really good. Just some really good muscular details. Everything is captured very well, including the somewhat goofy looking mask, but all of the actual sculpted detail is fantastic. There isn't a lot of paint on this at all. Not that there really needs to be, but it is sort of expected. One of the things that is somewhat annoying are the actual alternate face pieces, like the eyes and the mouth, because they are on sprues, so you need to cut those out yourselves and clean them up, which can be a bit awkward in terms of fit and leaving nub marks on it. So that's a little bit of a quality thing that I don't really like too much, even with this figure that has very little paint and everything like that. I think it retailed for something like 9,000 yen as well. Not a huge amount of accessories too for that price point, but he is pretty much regularly on special now for about half price, which is how I got him. He was like 5,000 or 4,000 yen or something like that at the time, which is pretty much the sole reason why I picked him up, because I wanted a cool, fun figure to play around with, and I was already getting the wrestling ring effect set. So yeah, I think it would work pretty well, and if it's an inexpensive figure, there's not too much to complain about. But this figure shines in posability, so we'll get right into it. So he's got a ball joint at the neck and head. The head ball joint is somewhat limited due to the design of the mask, and it's very similar to like Vegeta S.H.Figuarts, where when you move the head down too much, it'll pop the face. The arm can butterfly in, which looks really good. It can rotate all the way around, move out that far, swivel at the upper arm, and bend at the elbow, as well as a ball joint at the wrist. There's a ball joint in the chest, which allows for some good crunching side to side and rotation. He's also got the same thing going on in the waist, which means you can get some really nice dynamic poses out of him. His legs can do the splits that far, which isn't actually that great. He can kick forward and back that far, which is quite nice. He is a little bit limited by the floating little pieces in his underwear. There is a thigh swivel, bend at the knees, as well as a pivot and hinge at the ankle, and as well as a hinge at the toes. So fairly decent range of motion. The upper body is better than the lower body, but you can effectively get what you need out of this figure. And again, going through the expressions, I didn't do too many, but I'll quickly show you like the basic face that he comes with out of the box, as well as the rough swapping style. So you get, several wide mouths and small mouths, as well as eyes looking to the side, left or right, winking, happy eyes, everything like that. And you can really change up the expression, which is nice. A happy face can become an angry face very, very quickly. It really depends on the eyes, which is a really cool touch. And it's just nice to have this amount of options. And you can get him into some nice dynamic poses. Like I said, one of the coolest things is this is a figure that is capable of crossing his arms without a swappable part. So he looks really good like that. Any sort of ready poses look nice. If you pose him with an equally posable figure, you can get some really nice wrestling poses. I'm not even going to pretend to know any of the names of the moves that I've got him in. These were some promo images or references that I took from Street Fighter. And it pairs really nice with the ring accessory. If you do get the ring accessory, you can get 3 more parts and make a full size to scale ring, which is pretty cool. But this little corner is more than sufficient for some small and fun displays. And I didn't really have any issues getting him into any of these poses. His hands are really well designed in a sense of he can sort of hold the opponent without it looking like awkward in any way. So it helps if you're not using a stand or you're only using one stand for Kinnikuman himself. So it is a really nice and subtle addition that the hands were just like designed in such a way that he can actually pull off these moves and they look somewhat natural. And I just had a lot of fun posing him, playing around with him, and he's now actually part of my permanent display with figures. I've made a sort of like a gag display with some of the other figures I picked up from Japan, and I think it looks rather nice. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It is definitely a figure where the less you pay, the better it is. But I really enjoyed it. It sort of stands as a baseline figure for posing potential or just rough diorama stuff. Like if you were using Bodikun or Bodichan, this fits sort of right in that wheelhouse, which is really nice. It's a good archetype style figure. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed that video, and I will see you all next time. Oh hi, I didn't see you there. As you can see, I'm hard at work making new videos for the channel. Now, while I'm happy with where the channel is right now, I could use your help. By liking, commenting, and subscribing to the channel, it helps out the YouTube algorithm and recommends my channel to more people. So if you like any of my videos, please let me know, it really helps out. And if you liked this one, please let me know too. It means a lot to me, and I really appreciate all of you guys.